we actually need another Hebrew textbook? This question was asked at some Facebook comment. I was searching for it, I couldn't find it, but I was a little bit upset at that. And the post was, we don't have many Hebrew textbooks, and here's mine. And someone wrote, like, I have like 10 Hebrew textbooks at home. Why do we need it? So yeah, I'm not sure if he asked specifically, like, do we need another one? But he was like, I have like 10 textbooks at home. And I was thinking, indeed, there are textbooks. Not abundance like they have in English for English language, but in abundance. Why do we need another textbook? And for me, the answer is so obvious, but I need to talk about it to make it clear. Why do we need, really? What's in this textbook that's not in other textbooks? It's the same language after all. Here we go. I have a very clear answer. I think I'll go over the points real quick if you don't want to keep watching. And if you want me to elaborate, keep watching. So first, this book is old school. No nonsense. Straight to the point. I'll explain. Second, it's incremental. I teach very gradually. What in each next chapter, there are things which we learned in the previous chapters and more. 3, I have like an innovative, I have my way of teaching verb system, which is more intuitive for the learners. I have been doing it for years. I guess Hebrew teachers do it in any case, but I haven't seen any textbook that is approaching it as systematically as I do. I'm a Binyamin system rebel, but no, it is the same language, same system, but I approach it differently. I'll talk about it later. And where am I? 4. Reason number 4 is this textbook is complete unit. I see it as you have the textbook, you've learned it, you have the full toolbox to venture out there into native speaker materials. You just need to keep learning, but most answers, all you need to know is here. After that, vocabulary and of course idioms, expressions, culture, and yeah, basically that. Maybe, yeah, of course it's not, there is more to say, absolutely more to say, but more like nuances as the ground, as the foundation. This is enough to go into more like into the sea, going into the sea. Okay, so these are mainly the points. And about old school, so let's go over a little bit. I'll say a little bit more about all of these. Old school, I mean that I have a very old-fashioned approach to what's in the textbook. Let's see something in the middle. For example, here we have a chapter. Chapter starts with vocabulary. Then we have a reading text which consists of which has the new vocabulary, most of it, and the vocabulary which we learned before. No words which were not introduced here, you will not see here. You will see all these words were previously seen by the students in these vocabulary sections. No random vocabulary, because me as a learner, I feel sometimes I don't like it. I don't like it when I'm reading a text and like, how am I supposed to know that? Now then comes the grammar section, 6 I call it, but it's grammar, like, honestly, and grammar. And this I did not mention, but I'm trying to make it visually clear. I did my best. I hope it works. I tried to make it as interesting, engaging, and clear in terms of like infographics, okay, in terms of visually.
the explanations.
Okay, after the explanations, here's the homework. Practice writing and practice listening. There are two types of homeworks. In all practice writing sections, you need to do back translations. It's super old-fashioned. Back translations are pretty much not utilized in modern language classroom. I think it's a pity, chaval, and I can guarantee that you can do it, because again, everything that you need to say here was introduced in this chapter and in the previous chapter. Not a word you need to add. Of course, I know back translations are not easy because there are many ways to say things, but you can always, improvise, write what you can, and then check yourself in the in the appendix. There are keys to all the exercises. So first is the translation English to Hebrew, and then it looks small in the textbook, but it's not a small part of your practice at all. This is huge, actually. Here I have more sentences like these, like the same amount of sentences that are here in this little thing, which you get when you scan the QR code. You get audio files with sentences which you have to write down from listening. Of course, all sentences are made only with words and grammar introduced before only. And then write it down on a piece of paper, and then go to this section with answers and check yourself. So listening comprehension, it's not a small part of that. So this, and of course, it's the fun part. And then you get, after you finish one chapter, you get an object to your suitcase. Yeah, so this is the old school. It's a very old school approach. Vocabulary, text, grammar, back translation homework. Feels like it was abandoned by educators maybe in the 80s when I was born, but I want to go back to it because it gives a very clear structure, and I believe especially for self-study learners, it is necessary. I like learning languages, and I always prefer finding some old textbook when there's no nonsense, not a lot of pictures and not a lot of blah 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 and fluff. This is no fluff there. Yes, I tried to make it like visually appealing, but like in terms of content, no fluff. So that was one. Expanded. Second, what was the second that I said? About the being that's gradual, I talked about it too. Verbs. Another super important thing about this textbook is the way I approach verbs. I start, let me tell you, here are the contents. So in the first part it's alphabet, then it's the present tense, then this and this, these two parts we talk about verbs past and future. Here is the first step, and here is the second step. So my first know-how is in the first step. I introduce past and future, both. I don't do first past and then future. And there is a reason why, because I think they are beautiful, and I think they work together. They have the same logic, and it's very important to see them like a mirror reflection of each other, like wings of the butterfly. And I call it butterfly method. This is my method. So in the first past and future part, I show past and future, how it works, only for ani and anachnu, I and we personal pronouns. So you will be able to say I went, we went, I will go, we will go. This. And this for all the verbs that we have studied until this point, all the verbs that we have studied here, you will be able to put them in the past and in the future for I and we. And then in the second part, and here you will be able to do all the rest. You will be able to conjugate all the rest. So not only I and we, ani and anachnu, also ata, ta, atem, aten, hu, he, hem, hen, all of them. And another thing which I did not mention yet is that I have a kind of no list methodology. I called it, which is in these chapters you don't see many lists. Like in some textbooks, in other textbooks, you can have chapter 1, we learn the alphabet. Chapter 2, we learn the numbers. Chapter 3, we learn the personal pronouns. I don't do that. I think it's extremely confusing learning words of the same type at the same time, especially when it comes without context. So my approach is, in the first chapter you will learn like number 1, number 2. Second chapter you will learn number 6, number 7, in random order. I do not see it useful learning vocabulary as lists, because then you remember them as a song. Did it happen to you that you can like say in Hebrew you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then if someone is asking you 5, you have like, what's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Did you do that? So I'm trying to avoid it, introducing them separately, gradually. That's my approach, no list approach. Why did I mention it after the verbs? Because I want to say that for verbs and for lists, you can always go to the back, to the appendix. There's an appendix in the, yeah. When you go to the appendix, there's the methodology, by the way, what I'm talking about now, and online resources, which are great with the sentences and stuff. And then at the end, you have all the lists. Yes, you don't have to walk blindfolded and guess. No guesswork. Yes, all the lists are here. The numbers, as I said, the personal pronouns. Here are the tables. Again, which were introduced in the book randomly, not chaotically. I was meticulously checked that everything was introduced properly, but in a natural order. Personal pronouns combined with prepositions, of course, all of that. And then we do have verb tables. But they kind of, yeah, I hope they do not look scary. I remember when I saw it, was exposed to it first, I thought it's very kind of daunting. But once you feel how this butterfly flies, you will understand the kind of the logic. It's repetitive. It's very repetitive. These are like templates, how it works. And you don't have to guess. All the templates are there at the back. Okay, verbs. Old school, gradually introduced verbs. Well, complete, and it's complete. It is complete. It's a full crash course. As I said, after this, you are ready for sailing independently into the vast sea of the Hebrew language. I see you as prepared. I feel I gave you the full toolkit, the full toolbox, after which you can do anything on your own. And this is it. And good luck, Betzlacha, and hope to see you somewhere during your ventures and travels with the Hebrew language. See you then. להתראות, בהצלחה.